Hey guys, Jeremy and Brandon here from friendofrc.com giving you our review of the Traxxas Stampede 4x4 VXL. In terms of overall fun, this truck really brings it home. Once we take the lid off, you're going to see a couple of the things that we ran into, but let's jump right into it and start with some of the technical specs. I'm going to let Brandon kind of lead in with that as I take off the shell here, and you can kind of see what's going on underneath.
Now, when this first came out, I was with most of you guys. It's just a re-release of the Slash 4x4 is what I thought. Well, I was pleasantly surprised. They did use a lot of the original Slash parts, the 4x4. The driveline is very similar, but they did change the wheelbase of the car overall and changed a few components, such as the shock guards, the body armor, if you want to call it that, on the front and rear. That was a big upgrade. I was pleasantly surprised to see how much that helped while we were bashing. We took it to a local quarry, put it through every kind of train you probably want to run this kind of truck on. And honestly, the only thing we broke were axles. I was very, very surprised that I didn't break an A-arm like I do on my Slash.
Yeah, we ran into almost immediately, I think we blew some stub axles. Now, we may or may not have been doing a triple backflip off of half pipe at the time, so it's probably not what you would classify as intended use. But
probably what most people are going to try to do when they get it home. Yeah,
in terms of the speed and hardware, you know, it's really like that's where it mirrors the Slash most for me. You know, performs very similar in terms of acceleration and power, and you know, other than like the ground clearance, things like that that are obviously different. The technical aspects for someone like me who's pretty fresh to the hobby, you know, they were right there. You know, you've got your kind of your standard, you know, the shock armor is something that they talked about. That actually came in handy, more handy than we really thought.
Yeah, I was very surprised to find that not just protecting the shocks, but because it bolts right to your front A-arms, it also reinforces the A-arm itself. It acts as a part of the arm, and again, went to holding up against quite a few rocks. I mean, we were hitting piles of rocks over and over again with a 3-cell.
Yeah, if you guys have seen the couple of running videos we've done, there should be no question at all that this thing is fully waterproof. Have it submerged completely in several occasions, and if you see the shell here, we haven't cleaned it up yet. I don't see much point since it's basically completely fallen apart now. You know, but otherwise, you know, you can see we've got a little handy on-site battery mod here with electrical tape because I lost the battery, the thing that holds the battery in. But other than that, you know, in terms of technical aspects, the wheelie bar, I thought that was pretty annoyingly useless.
Yeah. I mean, it's a four-wheel drive. Yeah, it's going to wheelie, but it's not going to hold a wheelie. And I think the whole time we drove it, we were really just wishing that we had taken it off. It really got in the way more than anything, especially when you're doing jumps or hard off-road terrain. This tends to upset the driving more than anything. But it might be your driving style. You know, if you're just going for wheelies, they give it in the box. It's a nice little upgrade if you like it. Other than that, I didn't really use it much.
Yeah, more of a sex appeal thing than probably a form over function, if you may.
Right.
So in terms of like cost of operation, durability, we talked a little bit about durability with the stub axles and like the axle stuff. I thought you had a good point with the cost of operation in that really these parts have been out forever. A lot of these, there's a wide variety of people that provide them. They're pretty affordable, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of aftermarket support if you want upgraded axles. Otherwise, Traxxas keeps re-releasing these axles, and they're just reused from the original Rustler. So a lot of the parts you'll find in your local hobby store will have, even if it's an older, outdated part, to keep you going. And that being said, because it's four-wheel drive, because it's a good competitor in the 10-scale class, it keeps your parts cost down. If you need a part, instead of it being like, you know, an E-Max part that'll cost you $10, it's a $3 part, and it was relatively cheap. We only had to buy a few of them.
Yeah, right on. That's one of the things that I like the best about it, especially when I can go down to the local hobby store and get what I need right away for a $5 bill. Typically, the one thing I'm noticing with it though, as we really took it through its paces, is something people probably already know about, but it may be waterproof, the electronics, but you're going to notice a lot of rust and wear building up on your screws if you're not taking care of it. I made the mistake of kind of just throwing it in the basement and letting it, and basically all the heads of all the internal hardware screws, that stuff's not stainless steel, so it's all rusted out, and I'm kind of dreading the day I might have to take those out. I'll probably soak them in WD-40 if I can get them out, but something to keep in mind in terms of durability. You want anything's as durable as what you do with it and how well you maintain it.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of fun factor, you know, I loved my Slash. I love the Stampede. I don't know what else I can really say. It gives you more there's more. It opens more terrain to you, I think.
Yeah, it'll do everything the Slash can and everything it can't. I mean, being higher off the ground, the bigger tires, thing just it took anything I gave it. I was very surprised to see how well it took on off-road terrain. Handling and taking on what an 8-scale usually could in 10-scale packages, pretty rare these days, and I think you get great value there.
Right on. Yeah, that which is a great lead into the value, right? So the price point puts you right around where a Slash 4x4 would cost. For me, if you're a pure basher and you're not racing in like the 4x4 Slash class, there's no question about it. This is a better value because it opens more terrain to you. You're allowed to you can do more stuff with it, have more fun.
Yeah, best all-around value of all time. If you're not sure what you want to do, you just want to get in the hobby, you know you want all-wheel drive, go with the Stampede 4x4. It's going to get you through anything you want to try.
Sure. And then you know, in terms of performance, again, we kind of touched on it throughout the video. It did everything we wanted to do more. It survived some seriously wicked crashes with only minor repairs needed. Maybe the shocks could use a little upgrade, you know, in terms of the performance versus maybe their durability.
That's a standard Traxxas thing. Everyone knows their stock plastic shocks need some upgrading to be up to snuff to what most people bash.
Right, right. Steering servo actually, you know, is actually okay, I think. It's generally been my opinion that you buy a Traxxas product ready to run, you also buy a new steering servo too, because it's going to be under power. But I can't remember having a lot of issues with this.
No, it does pretty well. This is their high torque digital. You get 125 ounce-inches out of the box, and that's pretty decent for a truck of this size. You can always upgrade, but being that it's waterproof out of the box and that we haven't had a problem with it for all the hours we put into it, you know, I think it goes to speak a little bit towards its value.
Right on. So overall, if we go on Bill and Ted's excellent adventure, go back to the day we picked it up, I say I'd do it again.
Yeah, I'd buy 2. One for my friend. Absolutely love it.
Right on. Okay, so if you have any questions about the Traxxas Stampede 4x4 or parts of our review that maybe, or parts about the truck that we didn't cover in the review, post them down below and we'll be happy to get back to you, or you can shoot on over to friendof.rc.com or join the conversation at rcnightmare.com. Thanks and have a good day.